Welcome to episode 33 of Generation Gap Book Reviews. I'm Christy, the mom.
And I'm Lena the daughter.
In episode 1, we reviewed Book Scavenger, and in episode 20, we reviewed.
The Unbreakable Code.
Thank you, I couldn't remember what it was called. And
Bye.
now, I'll get there. And now we are
Sorry.
going to review the third book in this 3-book series, which is called The ALCATRAZ ESCAPE. And all of these books are by
Jennifer Chambliss Bertman.
Now, before we get to the synopsis and everything that follows that, be aware that we may spoil. I'm not really sure 100% that there's a whole lot involved in the first couple of books that we'll really talk about in this, but
Yep.
but we will not stop ourselves from giving spoilers for the first 2 books because it's just too difficult to talk about later books in the series without talking about what became of previous books.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read, go ahead.
So adios.
If you haven't read 1 or 2 and you think you might want to, please skip past this part of this podcast.
These ain't standalones.
They're not standalones. They're not. It doesn't tell one long story.
Well, no, but they're not standalones.
But stuff that happened in the previous books do bleed into the next ones. Do you want to tell us what this is about, or has it been too long?
Mr. Griswold was like, we're gonna do an escape room on Alcatraz, and there's gonna be like a way to enter it. And only certain amount of people get to go.
And what's that way?
There's a puzzle.
A puzzle.
It was a math puzzle, which was stupidly easy, but apparently was kind of...
I mean, stupidly easy, especially since I feel like I haven't, not as much lately, but for a long time, it seemed like this type of puzzle cropped up on Facebook all the time. And it was just a really common kind of, I don't even know if I'd call it a math puzzle. It's a logic puzzle that involves a little bit of math.
I'm going to talk about this later. So.
Oh, okay. So there was a single puzzle that people have to solve in order to be able to come to the escape room. And Emily, James, and Matthew, who are Emily and James are the main characters in the series. Matthew is Emily's brother, who is a secondary main character, I'd say. And they all end up being allowed to participate. So they go and they test their wits against fellow book scavengers and other puzzle lovers. But someone seems to not want Emily involved. And there are more mysterious elements at play that end up causing Emily, James, and even Matthew to have to do more than maybe just escape Alcatraz. So, Lena, what did you like about this book?
Well, I think, the puzzles were interesting. That was something. It only took me like a day or 2 to read it, so I was engaged. I remember reading it outside on the porch when the sun was pretty much down, and I was like squinting trying to read it because it was so dark out there. And then I think you came outside. You're like, "Why are you still out here?" And I'm like, "That's a good question." So like, I don't know.
Does that somehow talk about how much you liked it, or
because I was hooked on it enough that
you wanted to even stop to turn on the light or go inside or anything?
Yeah.
Did you at least have the porch light on?
No.
That's just crazy.
I would not have turned the porch light on and stayed out there because moths are.
Well,
insane.
that's true. That's true.
Anyway.
So, did you like the setting?
Yeah, Alcatraz.
So sitting out in the dark, might have added to the dark. No, I wouldn't say creepy, but at least a dark prison feel, maybe. Yeah, I really liked the setting. I feel like it was immersive. And so, speaking from the angle of it being an escape room story, I've said this many times, even once on the podcast, that books that are billed to be about escape rooms are usually the worst at being true to life with an escape room experience. So I was both excited and a little nervous going into reading this.
Yeah.
But it came across pretty well. I mean, the thing is, you can't just tell a story about somebody doing an escape room because that would be boring. I'm not doing the escape room. I'm watching somebody else do it. And okay, well, I guess that's what I used to do when I ran escape rooms. But I'm still a somewhat active participant, and it's different. So, and plus they often are either like the author. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if the author's ever done an escape room, or if they just heard about them and figured it must be like this because there's so many things that don't make sense, and they always feel the need to add extra, like too extreme of like exciting circumstances. Yeah. Here we have still the story that has very little to do with the actual escape room, that involves people doing things they shouldn't be doing, or there's a little bit of
there's a bit of crime.
There's some crime kind of aspect to it happening, And the escape room part of it is more of a backdrop to that. And the author, I can't, I can't say for sure she's done an escape room, but she at least
Mhm.
seems to understand the real,
Yeah.
what escape room really would be. I
Goldfish. Sorry.
maybe not real thrilled about the idea of there being lots and lots of puzzles and only like 5 of them are the ones you actually need to
Oh
solve
yeah.
it,
That was
because that would just drive me nuts.
yeah.
But that's okay. I'm this is it's a big, huge open. I mean, not open, but a big, huge playing field and a whole bunch of teams. So of course you have to have a lot going on. So I can actually understand that as it's not a bad extension from the book Scavenger, which is more like geocaching, but geocaching and escape rooms, at least the
Mhm.
puzzle part of escape rooms, really do have an intersection. So
Mhm.
it all it all went together really well, I thought. Yeah, and the rest of the plot that involved a mysterious author that was involved in creating the game,
Yeah.
and what's going on with Matthew that I'm not going to get into too much detail about. I thought that all came together really well in the
Yeah.
plot. Now, what did you not like about the book?
Well, the math puzzle, like we were talking about, like I was saying, it was like stupidly easy. Emily took way too long to solve that puzzle, and I was just like, I saw it, and I feel like I got it pretty quickly. So then I was just like, isn't she's the one who's supposed to be good at puzzles? So I'm like, why was that so hard for her?
I don't think it should have been too difficult for the author to come up with an actual difficult puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, there were a lot of like characters. I had to like her friend group was bigger, so I had to keep them straight. And I'm just like, I
That was
don't know who's
exactly
who
my
anymore. Oh
issue.
really?
Yeah. Because a lot of Emily's classmates ended up being part of it, so they all kind of formed a team together, and there were so many of them it bloated the
Yeah,
character list, and it was too. I think all of them had been most of them had been involved in some
they were
way, but
in.
much more minor
Yeah,
roles in previous books, and it was too
yeah.
many
But
people
after I
involved.
think even after the second book, they kind of ended up being friends no matter what. Or like they're in like their school kind of too.
They ended up being friends no matter what.
No, I feel like they ended up being friends like in their school as well.
Right, which that's
But
great for them, but you can't have that
it
many
was
characters as
yeah,
they're not all main characters, but having that many characters that have an active role
yeah.
gets really
I
complicated.
was like, oh
Yeah.
goodness.
And it was difficult to keep some of them straight.
Hmm.
Yeah. What else? Because I don't have anything else that I didn't like to say about it, because that was pretty much my only
I
thing.
don't have anything else either.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you rate this book?
I rated it a 4. I didn't like it as much as the other two, I feel like.
So do you remember what you gave all three then? Book one was
I think book 1 was 5,
book two,
probably 5 as well.
and then book three, four,
Yeah,
four.
4 4.
I gave this one 4.5.
Yeah.
And for me, it was 5 for the first one, then 4.5, then 4.5. So
Oh,
pretty solid, good series for me. And
mhm.
for you too, four's not bad.
Yeah.
So
No, for me it's like a 1. Not joking. Cuz you talk about it whenever I give a book a 4, you're like, but at least you used
I
to.
used to,
You
but that's
used to.
because
I
you
don't do that as much.
maybe that's because we
Yeah.
mostly reviewed book early on. We only really reviewed books you loved,
Yeah.
and or that was early in your reading, and you didn't have as many
Yeah.
nuances in your mind of
Yeah,
ratings.
I like it's hard for me to rate a book low because it makes me feel bad in some ways. So I don't know why. I just like I don't I feel like I forgive a book a lot whenever I'm bothered by something. I end up forgiving
So
it.
you're that person who's like you're reading it, and you're like, oh, while you're reading, this is and then you get to the end, and you're like, I guess it was okay.
Yeah, basically.
Ah, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Okay.
Well, that's it for the Book Scavenger series.
Yep.
In episode 13, we reviewed The Prisoner of Cell 25 by Richard Paul Evans, the first book in the Michael Vey series.
Yep.
And now we're going to review book number 2, and it is called
Rise of the Elgen.
Lena has read this pretty recently. It's been a little bit for me, but we're still going to discuss it. Sometimes if one of us has read a book too long ago and we want to review it on here, the one who read it a while ago will reread it, and I have no desire to reread it because
Yeah.
overall I have written this series off. I don't maybe I shouldn't say it that way.
You haven't finished
Because
it.
overall, though some of the books were okay, especially early on, the series took a dive for me later, and I didn't really have any desire to revisit any of it.
You didn't even finish the series.
We might have to agree to disagree on that.
Well, yeah.
I finished the original series. Then he started writing more, and I read the first couple, all up to the point that there were no more, and then he added another one. So I did finish the series that existed at the time.
Hmm.
Before we get into what this book is about, I will just mention we will be spoiling something, at least a thing or two, from the previous book. So if you have not read the previous book and you think you might want to, you should skip this segment of the podcast. So, Lena, would you like to tell us what this is about?
Michael Vey is an ordinary kid,
Is he?
but he's not
He's not an
actually.
ordinary kid. That's the whole point.
He's not exactly an ordinary
What
kid.
makes him unordinary?
In
What makes him not
unordinary.
ordinary?
He has powers, electric powers. Like like when you go like on the floor.
Eh. Yes, I always walk around going on the floor.
No,
Rub your feet
like
on the floor, like
when you
walk,
rub your
like
feet
drag
on
your
the
feet.
floor,
Yeah.
or like
So you're talking about static
rub
electricity.
rub. Yes, give me a moment, woman.
Sorry. I thought you couldn't remember the name for it or something.
No,
Because otherwise,
I was getting there.
when you start saying I figure that means you're searching for a word for something.
No, rubbing your foot on the floor. Or rubbing a balloon to your hair, static electricity, that's kind of involved in
So he goes around
powers.
rubbing balloons on his head.
Oh my gosh. I should have known you would have said something like that. He has electric powers. Is that all we need to say?
That's probably all we need to say.
But then he's not alone.
Well, that's because there's 8 billion people on the planet, so of course he's not alone.
You're just saying that to spite me. Anyways, he's not alone because there are other people who have electric powers.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And then they have to get some of the people who actually like have good morals. They get together to to rescue his mother.
Okay. All right. That's a weird way to approach it. So,
The ones that they went on his side because they have good morals.
so his mother has been kidnapped. That happened in the
yeah,
previous
that was
book,
the
right?
first book.
And Michael and some people who he joined up with in the previous book
Mhm.
are trying to free her.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then stuff happens.
Well, yes. I mean, obviously stuff happens or we wouldn't have a book.
Yeah. Just like they walk right into the place and they're like, "We're come for our mother." Okay, here you go. The end.
That's still something happening, Lena.
Well, yeah,
Anyway,
it's true.
what did you like about this book?
On one hand, the writing style bothered me sometimes. On the other hand, I really liked how simple the writing style was too.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's nice to just read kind of simple stuff. Sometimes it's kind of nice just to read dialogue for a little bit because you can get more out of dialogue sometimes than you can get in action sometimes.
Sometimes when I'm reading a book and I'm not enjoying it and I start to skim and I'm just looking for dialogue. So hey. Okay, what else?
The plot was intriguing.
Okay.
Michael, I liked him. For a main character, he's actually a pretty good main character.
For a main character.
Okay, sometimes, especially first person main characters.
Mhm.
Because some main characters can just be,
Obnoxious.
yeah. Especially in
Annoying,
first person.
petty,
Especially in first
whiny. Sorry. Keep going.
Especially in first person, I feel like sometimes first person just makes you dislike a character if the main character in general as a personality just isn't really good. I mean, some main characters in first person I really like them, but then yeah. Anyway, he's pretty good. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I liked Austin.
Austin, I didn't like him in the first book. Fun fact, because I didn't like him for most of the first book because of he was like, Michael's mom is hot, and I'm like,
It's just awkward. So anything else about this book?
no, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot other than that, especially not that you didn't already say. The plot was interesting. I thought the intrigue was good. It was an overall exciting, fast-paced book.
Yeah.
I thought that for the most part, the author's ideas about like the electric powers were interesting because these kids all have the same origin story about
Yeah.
how they got their electric powers,
Yeah.
but they basically all have different ones. And even if a couple of them are similar, they still sort of work differently for them. So I thought there was definitely some creativity and inventiveness that went into the different electric powers.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
What did you dislike about this book?
Do you really want me to go first?
No.
Okay. What did you dislike about this book, Lena?
The romance was really weird.
Which
It was-
romance?
Well, Taylor and Michael was okay,
I never really cared about them.
but there wasn't a lot of chemistry with them. There
No,
was
there-
some. There was definitely some, but then there was also stuff where it's like, they were boyfriend and girlfriend, but they didn't act like it all the time. And also there was like this they introduced a love triangle in it, and I was like, I hate this. It was
Not with
really
Michael and Taylor though.
not with Michael and
Yeah, I
Taylor,
just thought it was helpful to point. It's
yeah,
with some side characters.
but it's like, dude, it was really stupid. I'm gonna write it off now. I'm gonna guess that what's his face is not very good at writing romance. What?
I mean, he's really well known for some of his adult books, but I don't know if they all involve romance. I don't know. I mean, considering that, like you said, there's really not much chemistry between
Yeah.
Michael and Taylor, even though they're the main romance of the story. I think it was more
It was
just they had a connection and now they're together, and
yeah.
he doesn't feel the need to write any kind of like emotions between
Like
them. They're just I tell you they're together, so they're together.
it was like okay, what was it? The end of the first book, it was like she kissed him on the cheek, and then like that was it, and then all of a sudden they're boyfriend girlfriend, and I'm like, okay, what I wish as a person, I like
As a person.
as who I am, I like my romance to be more filled, or like slow burn is great because then you get more backstory with the romance and it's not just insta love or
You
whatever.
want them to have you want to be able to see a reason for why they like each other.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah,
because
that's yeah.
the first book didn't really give you a lot because
It was just that
it was
they found out they were the same, and
yeah,
that's pretty much it.
and then that was it.
Yeah.
And I really wish that it was pushed into like if they got together, I wished it could have been pushed into like the third book because if it was like after the second book when they're around all these other people who are like them, then I feel like they find each other in the midst of all these other people who are like them and they're all together and then you know?
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know much about Evans's adult books other than he was I think he's the most famous for the Christmas box, but that's not romance.
Oh yeah.
And I know he's written some romance adult books, and I don't really know much about him.
Mhm.
But at the very least, I think we can say that for teenage romance, he's not great.
Pretty weak.
I think it's an example of telling, not showing,
Mhm.
because he's not showing us that they're in love with each other or that
Yeah.
they like each other. Even he's not showing us why.
Yeah.
He's just telling us they like each other, so
Yeah.
now they're together.
Even though it's first person, I think especially since first person, there should
You feel like there should be
definitely
more like inner
you should
dialogue
know
of why he
more.
likes her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's like he had a crush on her in the beginning because
because she's a cheerleader,
she's a cheerleader
and
and she
in
was
in high
cute
school, that's all
or
it
something
takes.
like that. And then yeah.
Anyway, moving on from the romance, is there anything else? Because I just realized we've taken a long time on that.
Austin is a stereotype.
They're
I think we might have
all
said
stereotypes.
well, yes, they're all stereotypes.
I'm gonna get to that when it's my turn.
Actually, no,
so.
go ahead. Talk about
Oh,
that now and then yeah.
I, Austin is a stereotype of his own,
Yeah.
but all of the characters are basically stereotypes. Maybe not Michael himself, other than the
Yeah.
stereotype of the strong lead character.
Yeah.
That he's not. I don't know if I'd go as far as to call him a Gary Stu, but he's definitely mostly great at everything he does.
Yeah.
And everybody is like, oh, he's a great leader. We're gonna follow him, whatever. But the rest, other than Austin himself, who's his own kind of geeky stereotype, is what you're saying,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, he also ate a lot.
Oh
That
yeah,
was one of
yeah,
the
because he was
stereotypes.
chubby and
Yeah.
yeah,
As
I
like
forgot about that.
a side character.
But the rest of
Whatever.
there's a lot of males and a lot of by this point there's a lot of these electric children and other people that have kind of come alongside and are helping them that don't have electric powers. So by this point we have a good amount of characters. Now I will at least
Mhm.
say I'm going to mention this because in this same episode in another segment we talk about how too many characters bloated it, and I don't really remember that being a huge issue. I think he either did a good enough
Yeah.
job of keeping them separate, keeping them like reminding us who they were, or a lot of them just weren't that big in it, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't remember that being an issue with this book, or I definitely would have said something. But but that's probably the reason why, because there were so many characters,
Yeah.
he just left them all into two main categories. The girls are all silly creatures that think fluffy animals are cute, and the boys are all strong alpha males who only want to flirt and smash. And that's all except for Michael and Austin. That's pretty much
Yeah.
what they all are.
Yeah.
And it's a little ridiculous.
Though Austin did flirt in this book.
I'm not saying he didn't, but he wasn't an alpha male.
I was surprised by that.
He wasn't an alpha male.
Yeah. I know.
You only read 2 books. How can you be surprised that he flirted in the second book?
I don't know.
Because he's a stereotypical geek,
yeah.
and they don't usually
Yeah.
they're usually afraid of girls. Okay, so as far as the characters, that was one of my issues. Do you
Yeah.
have anything else before I move on to the rest of mine?
I don't think so that I can think of at the top of my head.
I'm sure I said this in the previous book, and it's not like he got better in between writing that one and this one. I
Mhm.
am not a fan of Richard Paul Evans' writing style, at least for teenagers. I don't
Mm.
I don't think he writes this way for adults. I think when he writes young adult books, he goes, these are teens. They need things simpler. I don't know exactly.
Mm.
You said you liked
Like
it.
childish.
You said you liked the simpler writing
Yeah,
style,
well,
and I'm not saying simple is bad. It wasn't that it was simple to me, it was that it was so incredibly immature.
yeah.
It was just it made it I mean, I have written a lot of my life. I've, gone huge gaps in between, but that means I wrote when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
I wrote when I was, I think maybe 13 or 14.
Mhm.
I tried to write, I thought I was going to write a book and I never really finished it, but I wrote. I wrote when I was 20, 25.
Mhm.
And this reminds me of a lot of that.
Mhm.
It hasn't really been until the last 10 years or so that I feel like my writing style has matured.
Yeah.
I know this sounds harsh, but these books kind of remind me of my attempts at writing when I was 12, which sounds really bad, but
Yeah.
that's what it reminded me of. I know that it's written for a younger audience, but it doesn't have to be quite so silly.
Yeah.
For example, and you may remember this in the second book,
Yeah.
and this may be part of why, even though I understand that you feel like simple is okay,
Yeah.
but you can agree, I think, that there's a point where you take it too far.
Yes.
Maybe some of the reason why the romance felt shallow is because I'm not saying in a teen book you want a lot of like long drawn out love scenes or anything like that,
Well, no.
but when you read, he's with his girlfriend, they're having a conversation or whatever, and then it just says we kissed. That is so shallow.
No.
It's like I'm getting like there's no romance in that. There's
No.
no
Because
emotion.
yeah, you
It's just too
gotta
simple.
show emotion. Like that doesn't. That feels. That's like snap of the fingers. It was just blank. It feels bleak. You
Yeah.
know.
So I think that's what I was feeling from this. And even though even if you didn't realize what was causing it, that's probably part of why you felt like the
Yeah,
romance wasn't
that's
very
probably
good.
true. Yeah.
Wasn't very emotional. So there's a place for simple writing and there's a place to go a little deeper.
Yeah.
And then
It
my other
was.
main issue was that in this book, Dr. Hatch, the bad guy, he just became like
He was
Hitler on
just.
steroids. Like he was so psychologically evil. It
Yeah.
was I wrote
He's.
in my notes, I really felt like Evans did research on Nazi Germany and on some of the people that did some of the worst things in
Yeah.
Nazi Germany and then went, I want to do worse. I want my bad guy to be
Yeah.
worse. That's
He's like.
ridiculous.
Maybe that's why his name begins with an H.
It's possible.
I don't know.
But I mean, especially since this is a teen book, like that's just a
It's.
little too far to me.
He's just a psychopath. I hate. Maybe that's a little too harsh. I strongly dislike Dr. Hatch.
I think it's okay to hate a fictional character. I
Yeah,
am
that's
fairly certain I
true.
said that at one point in the podcast before. That seems like that was like deja vu.
Yeah, that probably.
I think I said that before.
Yeah,
It's
I
okay to
think
hate
so.
a fictional character.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just some of the stuff that Hatch and the Elgin do are so over the top evil. It's just disturbing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those were the things I didn't like.
Yeah.
What do you rate this book?
I rated it a 4-star. Four
Me
stars.
too.
Wow.
I gave,
Great
and I know
minds
it,
think alike, mother.
and I know it sounds probably like I liked it less than that because of all the how much I'm saying about it. But
Yeah.
when I wrote down, and I did, I feel like it could have been written better. But when I looked back on it, it was overall a fast-paced, enjoyable read.
Yeah.
So I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for Rise of the Elgin. We may or may not be back with the third book, which is called Battle of the Ampere. Way back in episode 2, Lena reviewed The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I had not read it yet. And then I read it later and did an update of my thoughts on it and stuff in
Yeah.
episode 20.
Yep.
Well, now we are ready to review the sequel, the second book, and actually the third book. So we're going to just do those right in a row. So first we'll start with The Hawthorne Legacy.
Yes.
And fair warning now, we really can't review this very well without saying things that would probably be spoilers for the first book. We won't spoil The Hawthorne Legacy as we review it, but we will probably be giving spoilers for the Inheritance Games.
Oh yeah.
So, Lena, do you want to tell us what the second book is about?
Avery is on the hunt for Toby Hawthorne.
Who she originally knew as Harry, an old homeless man she played chess with in the park.
Yes.
But at the end of the first book,
Potter.
she comes to learn that she comes to learn that her chess playing friend is actually the
Toby.
long lost son of Tobias Hawthorne, who left her his
Yeah.
huge inheritance. She also is continuing to try to really understand why Tobias Hawthorne, who was a complete stranger to her, left her his vast fortune when he died. Because an answer was sort of given at the end of the first book, but not really. So, Lena, what do you like about this book?
For one thing, I think I really enjoyed the characters. Plus, humor is humorous.
Wow, that is a profound statement.
There are pieces of humor in the book that works with my humor, and so it makes me laugh.
Okay.
It's just a really interesting world, but it's like the same world, but it's like a different world, you know?
Right.
Because it's the real world.
World building doesn't have to
It's
be
fictional.
specific to sci-fi and fantasy.
Yeah.
Sometimes world building is something you can actually attribute to a modern real world like story because it's still fiction and they're still building a world.
Yeah.
So you're saying you like basically the world that Jennifer
Yeah.
Lynn Barnes has built here.
Plus mystery, puzzles. I just enjoy that stuff. Just like not knowing what's gonna happen next. Well, that's pretty common, but you know, like in a mystery, not really knowing where we're going.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I mean, the only thing I really have to say is I enjoyed the mystery side more in this book than in the previous one.
Mhm.
Probably because she already was more entrenched in the house and knew everybody already. Not everybody, but knew the main players already. So she was able to focus more on what on earth is going on and tracking things down and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's really all I have to say. Xander kept me going. That's maybe, I don't know. Not
Xander
really.
is he's my favorite Hawthorne brother, that's for sure.
But
He's
see,
just
Xander also has his
hilarious.
issues too. So I guess we should move on to what you did not like about this book.
That's the only thing you liked about this book?
Yeah, I told you. I said that's all I can say.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. You know I didn't like these books as much as you.
that's true.
And the only thing it had going for it to me was the mystery side, and this one, even the mystery side, betrayed me. So we'll get there. Do you have anything to say about not like what you didn't like about it?
I don't know. Because I can't think of anything right now.
Okay, I can go. I got plenty.
I know.
So when something that is clearly meant to be a large aspect of the book, I have to say I have to just try to push aside that part of the book. That's obviously not a good thing. So since the romance was a big deal in these books and I had to pretty much just try to ignore the romance, that should tell you something. Because I said this already in the previous review, but it continues here. The idea of a love triangle that involves two brothers and a girl sort of, I wouldn't say she's trying to choose between two brothers, but in a way, in a broad sense, she is. That really bugs me. Plus, in general, Jennifer Lynn Barnes' idea of romance is nothing like my idea of romance. So I just kind of go, this is supposed to like endear me to like I'm supposed to like care about these people and I just don't care. So
Wait, okay. Never mind. You don't like the whole team blah 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 and team blah blah blah, and you're probably neither, are you? Aren't you?
in this book,
Or in general, like,
I don't want to talk about the third one until we get there. Like where I am now.
did you change?
I was never team any. Okay, besides the fact, leaving aside from the fact that we talked about during the Hunger Games, that I would not call myself team anything.
Yeah.
I liked Grayson a little more in the first book than Jameson. In this book, I kind of, I don't know if I could say I liked either of them that much. I made an assumption about who Avery was going to end up with, pretty much just based on romance tropes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think overall I cared enough about the romance to pick a guy for her. Oh, and I also, I think I liked Avery less later, so I'll worry about that later. But anyway.
I've been Team Grayson for a long time.
Okay, so the other side of it for me is the mystery, the plot. I did like it more this time, but I still had my problems with it. The first book, nothing really got resolved. You are given a super weak answer in the end that just I was like, really? Are you what? This is nothing. And well, that's because in the end it was nothing.
Yeah.
Because there was more going on and nothing actually got resolved at the end of the first book. So in this book, I was really like for the first half of the book, I was right there with it like, okay, this is really solid answers. Okay, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
But I didn't learn my lesson from the first book because I can't, I'm going to be vague to avoid spoilers, but about the point that you think things are starting to come together, you realize there's way too much of this book left to go. What else is going to happen? And then you find out that all those answers you thought you were getting, nope. not really, fooled you.
Yeah.
And I was really annoyed. I was so annoyed because then you get to because I don't trust anything anymore. I
Yeah.
don't enjoy reading a book where I can't trust anything I'm reading. And you get to the end of the book and I have no idea if what it seems like it might be the real answer at the end of the book is actually the real answer, or if we're
Yeah.
really still waiting for the third book to
See,
get the real answer. I
thing,
don't. That's to me. I don't read an entire book to get nowhere. That's not what you're supposed to do.
yeah. So here's the weird thing about me. I read a book, and if I have an answer, like anywhere near that's not the end of the book, I'm thinking, what if this is wrong? Maybe I have more trust issues than you. You just kind
I
of
mean,
like,
okay. So when I watch a TV show,
yeah,
police procedurals, watched
yeah.
a lot of those in my life. When it seems like they've caught the bad guy and you look at the time
Well,
and you realize there's still 20 minutes left, of course
yeah,
you go,
that's kind
okay,
of
that's
different
clearly not the
though.
bad guy. But it's not like halfway through the book when we're or in the first half of the book when she's coming up with what seem to be solid answers. I just think something could happen, some kind of conflict can come up. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
these answers have to be a lie.
Well,
I
yeah.
just think. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe I am too trusting. We're not even talking about an unreliable narrator here. We're talking
No.
about an unreliable author, and I don't like it. That's just all I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
you you can enjoy this kind of book, and I'm not
I
sure
know.
I get it, but I cannot enjoy it, and you don't have to get that either.
I don't.
So that's pretty much all I really have to say. Did you ever come up with anything you didn't really like about the book?
No.
So
This was my favorite of
that's
the
right. I forgot
three.
about that. So what do you rate it?
5 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 3.
Yeah,
And I
it's a
gave the
very
first one 2.5.
different.
So this was a little better, but
Yeah.
not a whole lot. And at this point, I really wouldn't have continued if it wasn't so, if you didn't love it so
Yeah.
much and you weren't like,
Plus,
I really want you to. And I'm like, all right, I'll keep
I was
going.
pretty sure the third book was a bit better because it ended the trilogy, and so like.
Well, that was part of it, was knowing that there should be an end to these questions that she's teasing
Yeah.
us with fake answers to. Hopefully by the end of it, I'll know for sure. So, okay, so we'll move on to.
The final Gambit.
Oh, and a reminder.
She's gonna.
At this point, we will. I don't think we can really avoid spoiling the Hawthorne legacy as well
Yeah,
as the
no, you
inheritance
can't.
games. So, Lena, would you like to tell us what this one is about?
Avery is our protagonist.
You mean Avery Kylie Grahams?
Yeah. That's her name, right?
Yes, and don't we cannot forget it. Go on.
And she has to get the inheritance, she has to be at the Hawthorne house for a full year. So, as there are 2 other books, they take place in the same year. And the third one is, I don't know how many months from the end of the year.
I think she's only a few weeks away from the end of the
Few
year.
weeks. Okay. I think her birthday's coming up.
Her birthday is like right at the beginning of this book.
Oh, the birthdays are at the beginning of the book. Okay.
I read it pretty recently, so I
And
remember this one
then-
better than the rest.
And then a stranger shows up at the front door, and they're like, "Can I come in?
Okay.
I need help." And then Avery is
You mean
like,
Avery Kylie Grahams?
Avery Kylie Grahams. She's like, okay.
Oh, no,
And
actually,
then
she's not just like, okay. She's
she's
like, I don't know
like-
if I should trust you.
She's like, and then stuff happens. Drama. You guys love my synopses, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. So things do happen, yes. Again, I say it's not a book if things don't happen. So Lena, what did you like about this book?
Mystery, as the same. I'm just a mystery fanatic. I think it was just kind of interesting to the puzzles were cool. I think it was just kind of interesting to see like kind of like a wrap up to the year and how much had happened in the year, you know,
Okay.
because 3 books worth of puzzles and psychotic stuff was very crazy,
Okay.
I can't think of anything else right now. You can go.
Well, I mean, this did end up being my favorite of the series. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the romance wasn't as prevalent. There wasn't, I honestly, with the way book 2 ended, and here's where our first spoiler comes in. So, because of romance tropes, if nothing else,
Yeah.
I figured in this series, Avery, Kylie Grahams, and Grayson Davenport Hawthorne were destined to be together. So I was surprised at the end of book 2 that she, quote unquote, chose
Yeah.
Jameson Winchester Hawthorne. because in a way she only chose him because Grayson was dealing with a lot of his own stuff.
Grayson's broken, but
But
not broken.
because of that, I assumed that book 3 was going to have a huge amount of angsty romance stuff, and I was pleasantly surprised that it had some, but not as much as I thought.
Mhm.
And the mysteries, the plot was more engaging and less frustrating in this
Yeah.
book overall. So
Yeah.
that's what I liked about it.
I know what
And
you didn't like about it.
I also liked Jameson Winchester Hawthorne more in this book, but weirdly liked Grayson Davenport Hawthorne less, so I guess it sort of evens them out. And then I still liked Xander, so that's good. And actually
Ooh.
Xander had an arc in this story that I
Xander
really
had
liked.
an
It might
arc
have been
in
one
this
of my favorite
story.
things about the whole series.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Now what did you not like?
All right. Well, I never really got the hype for Jameson, Winchester, Hawthorne.
Now I've got you doing it.
I'm only doing it because then if I don't, you're gonna correct me.
I didn't even think about it that time.
I never really got the hype for him. I was always Team Grayson, so I was a little disappointed at the end of the Hawthorne Legacy where I'm just like, but Grayson. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll deal with it. However, for those who have not yet read Brothers Hawthorne, I understood Jameson a lot more after that.
That's a whole other book. We're not even
I
talking
know,
about
but that I'm
okay.
just saying this is I feel like I should say that as
That has nothing to do with what you didn't like about the Final Gambit, though.
Jameson is the part of what I didn't like in the Final Gambit because I never really liked him.
Well, okay, but in everything you said, you talked about the Hawthorne Legacy and the Brothers Hawthorne, but not the Final Gambit. But I got you. Okay, I think it comes around. I
Yeah.
understand now. What else? Because I know that you said you had a lot.
The stranger, she was. I don't know if you're ever supposed to like her, but if so, I never did. I just.
I think it was
I wanted to strangle her a lot. Actually.
intentionally a mystery about whether you should trust her or not. But yeah, I
Yeah.
never liked her either. I also never trusted her.
Liked her. Yeah, Grayson was a little dumb in this book. For reasons I shall not get into.
I don't even think there were any reasons. Not really. I feel like the author didn't give us enough reason for why he was the way he was in this book. Well, some of it, but not all of it.
I have another thing. Emily. She's dead. She's been dead. Spoilers. Oh, sorry. She's been dead, and she's just. I'm like, can you
she's
stop
a character that wasn't even ever
mentioning
in
her?
these books. Yeah. Basically,
I'm so sick of you.
Grayson needs to see a psychiatrist.
Yes,
to help him move on from his dead, manipulative girlfriend.
She was like.
Sounds like she was a terrible person anyway.
Yeah.
And he can't get over her.
Yeah. Like, I'm just like, Grayson, do you need a concussion?
Wow. Oh man, we're doing it wrong. Grayson Davenport Hawthorne can't get over his long dead girlfriend. Anything else?
Go ahead.
Well, not only did I already mention this, start to dislike Grayson Davenport Hawthorne in this book, I also started to strongly dislike our main character, Avery Kylie Grahams, in this book. I just didn't like her. She was, and I don't think it was on purpose. I just did not like what the decision she was making, the way she was being.
Yeah. She was something. Her first person is a little weird.
So the other thing that is actually something that's really been throughout the whole series, but I never honestly, it's not like I didn't know this was an issue I was having. I guess I just didn't realize it was going to be so prevalent. Maybe it was worse in the third book, or maybe I was just fed up with it by then. But Jennifer Lynn Barnes' writing style. The way her prose, if you feel like it's a little awkward that we keep saying Avery Kylie Grahams and Grayson Jameson Hawthorne, no, that's not right at all.
Grayson Davenport Hawthorne and Jameson Winchester Hawthorne.
That's because that's how it is in the book.
Yeah,
so
she says
I
that
think
a lot.
the first two books, I assumed that it was a way that Jennifer Lynn Barnes, see, she's got her own name is like that too.
Yeah.
It was a way that Barnes was trying to infuse romance, because I have seen in lots of TV shows and movies, it seems to be a thing that people think is romantic to say the full name, not usually involving the middle name, but even saying first and last name of the person that you know, in a flirting way or whatever. I've never really seen that as anything other than cheesy and awkward.
Yeah.
And here, she doesn't, it's not something that they use it's in dialogue a lot, but Avery thinks of these two brothers in their full names a lot.
Yeah.
But then in this third book, it gets even worse, because her full name comes out of the mouth of the villain several times. And I'm like, okay, this is clearly not meant to be romance. What on
Yeah.
earth does Barnes really think people talk
I
like this
don't
that
know.
much?
It's okay. So anytime now that we watch a show and somebody's full name is said, I look at you because it's hilarious. Like we just watched something and it was like, I really, really like you, first name, last name. And the other guy's like, I really, really like you, first name, last name. And I'm just like, okay. It's a little weird when you hear it
And the
said
thing
out
is, I
loud.
always used to think it was silly, but I think it's gonna be worse now
Uh-huh.
for me. It's gonna bother me more now because of this series.
Yeah.
And then on top of not just the names, but other things that she would repeat all the time. A very risky gamble. Ever since that
Yeah.
became something that was known in the first book, it was just dropped in all the time.
Yeah.
And the end of the second book, there was the part about it's a spoiler for the second book, but Toby
Toby.
telling her, like, I think Avery said something to him about him having a daughter, and he said, "I have two."
Yeah.
You have a
That
daughter, I
kept
have
coming
two,
back,
gets
yeah.
repeated every time something about that comes up later in the third book.
See?
I remember the first book, it was always her mom, like, and it was always just in italics. She didn't like it was in italics, just a line or two from whatever had been said before, a reminder of it, like her mom saying, "I have a secret about the day you were born," was
Mhm.
repeated throughout that first, and I think at least once or twice in the second and third books too. I I guess Barnes thinks that we're all going to forget these things, but honestly, for
Yeah.
me, it just becomes repetitive and annoying and
Yeah.
just cheesy. I do not care for her writing style in that way.
Yeah.
I also didn't care for her style of plotting, where you seem to get an answer and then, nope, that's not the answer. Then you seem to get an answer and, well, there's actually more than this. You
Yeah.
seem to get an answer and, well, sometimes the answers are just part of a bigger answer, and sometimes it's literally just a lie. It's
Yeah.
just here at the
Mhm.
end of the series, I can tell you I got mental whiplash from her, and I just did not enjoy it. Clearly, some people do because a lot of people love these books,
Yeah.
and
They're
that's
not as
fine.
popular,
And
but yeah.
that's fine. And you can love them and be perfectly happy with fake answers too. Not for me. It is
I
just
know.
not for me.
I know. That's why I'm not like, why don't you love these books, mother?
No, but you were so stressed, not stressed, but nervous to
I
hear what
was
I thought when I first
I
read
was
them, and
so
I just thought you'd be really, really sad if I didn't
I
like
was
them, you
I
know?
remember just like I would be like, you should read
I
no
know that's true. That's true.
no.
You
I
did
got
actually sort of half warn me
really
away from them early on. You
yeah,
kept
I
saying you don't
did.
have to read them. I'm
I
like, yeah,
kept being
I
like,
know,
it's
but
teenage. You don't like teenage. It's teenage. You
dude,
don't like
I read.
teenage.
Do you know how much young adult I
Yeah,
read?
I
I
know.
don't just automatically dislike teenage stuff. I
But
just dislike teenage stuff written by somebody like her.
uh, jeez. Anyway, but I was like,
Even the one I liked, I got to be honest with you. It's a 4-star for this book
mhm,
is different than a 4-star for other books. It's
yeah,
really more of a comparison between the books. I liked it more than the other two, and rather than going back to the other two and drop the ratings down, I'll leave this one a 4 stars. And since I've now mentioned what star rating I gave it, what star rating do you give this book, Lena?
I rated it 4.5. I know.
Okay. Well, I just somehow I thought this would be a little lower since you actually had something to say about this that you didn't
Well,
like.
yeah, but I remember things more from when you were talking about the final Gambit than when you talked about Hawthorne Legacy. I think you talked more about the final
I
Gambit more than
did,
Hawthorne
which is
Legacy.
interesting because I rated it higher. But
Yeah.
that's because part of that's because some of the stuff I said about Final Gambit was stuff for the whole series, not just for that third book. That's just when I said it, you know. And I didn't even get into the fact that the climax of the third book is it's anticlimactic. I was just
Used
like,
to you, yeah.
this is really what you chose to be your climax, really. And also, I just should warn people because I think we already did our recommendations for the first book, and I don't think we need to do them again for sequels. But this book definitely has a casualness to sex from them playing strip bowling and just the general idea of I mean, these kids are not supervised.
They're not.
They're
They don't have
not.
any super.
Two of them are still in high school. Two of them are older than high school.
Mhm.
But their older brothers do not count as good supervisors, and their mom is a piece of work.
She's not even
She doesn't
in.
even live there. She got
She
kicked out
doesn't.
because she
She
tried to
got kicked
kill
out.
Avery in the first book,
Yeah.
and that's it. They have
Plus,
no supervision.
from
They do what they want, and they have tons of money. So
from how they were birthed, what they were birthed into, it makes sense that they're more careless about what would seem more immoral to some people. Cause
and
Tobias wasn't exactly the best supervisor either.
even with all of everything building up to this, I was still really thrown off by Avery and Jameson just basically living together. They're still in high school.
Yeah.
Whatever. No supervision here.
I mean, technically,
So-
they're all living together.
You know what I mean.
But I know what you
mean
mean,
in a
yeah.
biblical sense. And all of that to say, because I'm sure that because us as Christians, that a good chunk, if not all of our listenership are probably also Christians, they might want to know
yeah.
about that. Granted, if they're listening to this third one and they've
They've
already read
already
the other
read
ones, they
them.
already know. But if anybody hasn't read them and you're still thinking about it, just be aware of that. I think it's important to know that in advance.
Yeah.
And that is it for
That's it for
the Inheritance, the main
the
series of
trilogy.
the Inheritance games.
Yeah.
There are more
There are more. There are.
continuation novels
Yeah.
that we may or may
I'm
not come
so
back to. It will
excited.
depend.
Join us next time when we are going to be reviewing Not If I Save You First by Allie Carter.
Until next time, I'm Christy,
And I'm Lena.
and this is
Generation Gap Book Reviews.